start with a couple of basic ideas here, and I know you have some really juicy things to share. So how does a woman get a man to be more or less tripping all over himself to meet her in less than 6 seconds? Like, what's some tangible tips here that a woman can do to kind of jumpstart things if she's in that place where it feels like a dearth?
Yeah, and that's a tough place to be.
A real tough place.
Where do you start? And it's like it can feel like a chore or an effort to put out another dating profile online or get dressed up and go out to meet men wherever you go. Right. It's like, it can be such drudgery. With that in mind, I would say, if it's not fun, don't do it, right? So you got to turn it around and find the fun factor. You just have to. It's too hard if you don't. Why bother with that, seriously? Start small. Go out with your girlfriends. If you see a cute man, separate yourself from the pack. Practice smiling at him. Now, this is going to feel very vulnerable, very uncomfortable. I say smile for 6 seconds. I like the alliteration of a 6-second smile. And as you're smiling, what's happening is that he is going through his own meltdown, looking around to see if it indeed is him that you're smiling at. If he is available and finds you the least bit attractive, he will come to you. If he's not available, meaning he's married, gay, or just doesn't have time on that day, whatever, it's not personal. It's not personal. It has to be a game. First of all, no one can reject you. In a situation like that, he doesn't even know you.
Right.
You know, a lot of women take it very personally, and it's easy to take it personally. If you smile at someone and you take a risk and he looks at you and just goes, next, you know. However, you've saved yourself a lot of time as opposed to going up and introducing yourself and then he's being polite and you have no idea what he's thinking, right?
Right.
So this is a surefire way to know if he's interested. So that's the first thing. Now, if going out is not interesting because you live in a small town and there's no place to go, practice online. And what that means is put out a very pretty picture of yourself smiling, looking at eyeballs, and flirt with men in a very safe way. Send a smile or a wink or a drink or whatever you do, or send a little note that says, if I were standing across the room from you, I'd be smiling, or comment on something respectful in his profile to jumpstart it, to let him know that you're there. And then if he's interested, he will respond. Now, if you send him a smile and he smiles back, you've attracted another woman. Just next. He's not going to do anything. Right. If he doesn't initiate something, let it go. Delete, delete, delete. The advantage of being online is that you have a bevy of men to choose from, and so it's a safe place to practice. And if you are online, you also know that there are a lot of people out there that are imposters. You know, they are not who they say they are. So there's that. But, you know, you got to find a beginning place, an entree, and that requires you faking it till you make it. Dress a step above your comfort level when you go out. Start smiling at children and old people and animals until you build up the courage to look into a man's eyes and smile. Start practicing with the waiter, the busboy, you know, the guy who opens your door when you go to the dry cleaners. It's just being in the habit of enjoying your life and allowing the possibility for someone to come to you that you will accept or reject. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times women get very insecure. They hide. They hide. And some of the most extroverted women are hiding behind their extroversion, but so it's like you got to be willing to unzip and show who you are and be okay with whatever. I'm not saying putting yourself in harm's way. I'm just saying you got to put yourself out there to say, I'm available should someone be interested in meeting me and inviting me out.
Yeah, and I think this is such a great concept that you're teaching here. I once had a man that said to me, and I thought this was really poignant, he said, what a lot of women need to understand is that most of us don't feel like James Bond inside, like we could just approach any woman without being rejected. And so what you're talking about here, Cherry, is you're more or less laying out a little welcome mat that says, if you were to approach me, I'm not going to bite your head off and you're not going to be rejected. You're creating that safe space for him to approach, whether it be in person or online.
You are so right. You are so right. Women have to make it safe for a man to approach. And the safest way is when you get in eyeballs and smile, because the man is looking through your eyes to the mirror of your soul. And he will know if it's safe. Drunks and geeks will approach you uninvited. But James Bond needs to know that it's safe.
Right. That's right. That's a good way to put it. So when a woman interacts with a man or she begins to get to know him, how does she set herself up so that he sees her as a potential girlfriend or wife rather than like a friend or business partner?
Yeah. The easiest way to do this is letting him lead the conversation, listen, and respond. Don't go equal to what he's saying, and certainly don't go competitive. And what that means is, if he asks you, for example, what do? You don't lead with your presidency of the bank or that you are a business owner. You see, you don't give him your respectable traits. You tell him about things you enjoy doing for fun. And that sets it up for, I'm a person who likes to play and I can be respectful of your ideas. Mm-hmm. All right? But the easiest thing is, and it requires some patience and some self-discipline, is to continue to smile, let him speak first, let him initiate the questions, you answer, and then say, and you.
And you.
I like pasta, and you?
So would you say this is true, Cherry? And I want to emphasize this point because it's really important. So a man is approaching from across a room, or a man is approaching online. Maybe you've sent a wink or a smile or whatever, but he's coming back, he's approaching now. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this is true both online and offline as far as women allowing a man to speak first, kind of take the lead? I mean, how does that work? I just want a little more nuance here for the ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because it's so important, I think.
It's so important. And a lot of women, okay, two things are coming up. One is a lot of women often get nervous, so they fill the silence with patter. And it goes into this song and dance, which turns out to be something like, pick me, let me entertain you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And the other thing that's coming up is women get very resistant. Well, I just want to be who I am. I don't want to have to edit what I'm saying because it's not authentically me. And I'm going to just invite the possibility of allowing him to present to you. You be the auditioner. You be the director. You be the casting person. He is auditioning for the role of your of your co-star, right? And let him present and do his thing. There's no reason for you to exert yourself and to cast your pearls before swine, to quote Blanche Dubois, unnecessarily. It's too much energy. It's a waste of time. I used to go out. I remember this. I remember going out on dates and coming back exhausted because I had talked the entire time. And then someone would ask me, well, how was he? And I was like, I have no idea. I did all the talking. I have no idea who he is. But I hope he asks me out again. It's like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you want to turn it around and say, well, if I'm quiet and I'm not revealing my total self, it's okay. It's okay to allow and create the space for you to show me who you are and what you've got to offer that makes my life better than what it is on my own. I know I keep saying that, but that's the deal. That's the deal. Mm-hmm. Most women, if you're smart and successful and listening to this conversation, you know how to run your life. You don't need a man to take care of you. You know how to do that already. With that in mind, a man then becomes a nice accessory to have along to enjoy your life and to share things with and to hopefully make life easier in some way. So you want to be very mindful of the value that he brings and the way he complements your energy. So if you are more of a driving personality, you might find it interesting to be with a man who's more poetic and more sensitive and artistic, because that's a good fit for you. If you run equal, which is fine, you can have a relationship of equality, a partnership, because both of you are successful and both of you like to, make money and play, have sex. Then the only thing you have to be mindful of is not being competitive at the same time, meaning who makes the most money and who makes the plan. It's like a negotiation, and you want to be complementary in your energy, not competitive. Mm-hmm. Is that clear?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so essential if you want to set the stage for a romantic relationship. It's essential. Otherwise, you do get into the friend zone, or you get seen more as a business person, a business type relationship. I can remember at one point when I was in a job, and I was very successful and was making a lot of money, and I was dating someone, and I really wanted to impress him. I really, really liked him. So I would share my accomplishments, my achievements, the success I was having. Well, he was very impressed, but he wasn't falling in love with me, right?
Totally.
He wasn't falling in love with me, and so it didn't have the intended effect that I hoped that it would have. And then just another little point that I wanted to emphasize that you said here is that I really feel like as women, we need to be in that place of knowing our own value and then not overinvest. Don't give too much too fast, too soon, as I always say. Don't overinvest till you see where the man is coming from and how much he has to offer you. And I like how you framed that, Cherry, when you said you are the casting director. You're seeing whether or not he's going to be that leading man, so to speak, in your life. And that's a shift for so many women, because I, like you, dated from that place of I've got to impress him and I've got to give and do and be and I wasn't able to relax and allow for me to analyze how much, sometimes I look back on some of these guys and go, well, I didn't even really want him. But in the moment, it felt like that was the thing to do.
Yeah. I think we were raised to get a lot of our validation if a man liked you.
Right.
If a man picked you. And it was inaccurate. It was misinformation. I really do believe that now. I didn't then. But like you, I remember dating this guy I really liked, and I would write a list of things to tell him on our date, of accomplishments, even if it was just changing the garbage disposal, something, finding my own car insurance. I remember writing a list and to regale him on our date.
I love that.
Needless to say, he's long gone.
Yes, I'm sure he was very impressed.
I'm sure he must have been.
So I know we're bouncing around here, but I'm loving what's coming forward. So we framed up how to invite a man to approach and to make it safe for him, and we've considered a bit of what's going on for him. Mm-hmm. We've talked a little bit about the complementary versus the competitive energy, and not necessarily leading with our achievements or our accomplishments. And we've talked about the importance of not over-investing and allowing for that time and space for us to really get to know a man and see if he's actually who we want, rather than being focused on how do I impress him and, oh, wow, he wants me, before we even know whether we want him. And so now let's come back to this pretend scenario that a man has approached. He's walked across the room, and you emphasized you allow him to speak first. Mm-hmm. So say one more time why that's so important, because I really want the ladies to get that.
Because it sets him up to be the masculine hero leader.
That's right.
If you speak first, he will go, wow, she's brave. She spoke first. She'll do all the work. I don't have to. And he will sit back and let you, and he won't fall in love.
Yeah.
If you take nothing away from this interview, take that away. No matter what happens, smiling at a guy, tripping over a guy, whatever, let him speak first. Let him speak first. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a biggie.
It is a biggie, and even though that might be just a few seconds that's happening, that can feel like an eternity.
Yeah.
And I can remember, Cherry, the first time I interviewed you and you said this, I was like, blown away, because I just thought this one thing could have made such a huge difference in my love life. So that's why I wanted to swing back around and emphasize that, because it's so powerful.
And there's something else you said about, not going competitive with a man and not starting to talk about your accomplishments. I'm just going to throw this in here. I know we're talking about how to meet a man and set it up for romantic possibility. The other factor in it is when you understand how it works in those first 30 seconds of meeting, you can turn it into anything you want. You can make it a romance by letting him lead the conversation. You're responding with your answer and you staying in your feelings and what you like to do for fun. If you want a business deal and a business colleague, start talking about your business. Maybe he can turn you on to something else that you're looking to build your career. If you're looking for a friend, a guy to hang out with, make him a friend. Do you see what I mean? You have the ability to create whatever it is you want to create. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes also a woman gets in the trap of picking a man with her eyes. And I'm all about, if you're signaling a man, you don't want to signal an ugly man. You just don't want to do that. But a woman falls in love through the ears of what the man says. And so an average-looking man can get really cute really fast if a woman likes what she's hearing. So don't be afraid to practice with the average-looking man. Just hear what they have to say. Often the good-looking guys, the hunks, the James Bonds, they are good-looking and spoiled. And a lot of them are so used to women doing everything that They don't work that hard. Or they know how to work a woman to get a woman romantically interested because they are so seductive and charming, and a woman thinks she's met James Bond and then 3 months later realizes she's met Hager the Horrible, because he just gets what he wants, zips it up, leaves, or starts to use you. I call these men rogues because they're so seductive and charming for a while, and then they turn, and it's all about their own gratification, their own self-interest, and they've just used you to as bait to get their own needs met.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So you really have to pay attention, be very present to what it is he's saying, because he's giving you information that's the truth. And if you meet a guy who on first meeting says, I'm really bad at romance, or women think I'm terrible, believe him. Mm-hmm. He's telling you who he is. But a lot of women will say, no, you're not. You're not that bad. You're great. You seem very nice. He's telling you.
Or she thinks, I can be the one that changes him, saves him, reforms him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's another one. That's another path I went down with one man in particular. I got this savior complex. Well, needless to say, that was a disaster.
I know, it never works. You think you can. I've done it too.
Right.
I'll be the different one. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so back to our pretend scenario for just a minute, because I want to get this other juicy tip in, Cherry, which is, okay, so a man has approached, and let's just say he's a cute man that you might have some romantic interest in. She's allowed him to speak first. A bit of a conversation ensues. And then I know you can say that you can tell within 15 minutes if he's interested in a long-term romance. And I love this because I'm really big on women not over-investing in these early stages. Yeah. When you've all had 2-3 hour conversations on the phone or in person and then nothing. So I really want to give you a chance to speak to that.
Yeah, he knows within 30 seconds, but he knows in 15 minutes if you'll go competitive with him or if you're complimentary to him. That's why, again, it's so important to be mindful of what you're consciously creating in the very, very beginning before you even meet. If he's interested, he's going to ask for your number or make an appointment to see you. It's that simple, within 15 minutes. If he hasn't, then you say, thank you so much. I've enjoyed talking with you. I have to go. And if he's going to make a move, that's when he will do it. Mm-hmm. I just had a situation happen recently with a man who came to me. I mean, I smiled at him, but I wasn't signaling, but he was cute. I will say this. He was very cute. And he comes over and he sits and he talks to me. And by the vibe between us, I knew he was interested. I mean, who does that? You know, you don't come and just sit next to a woman if you're not interested in something, right? And we started talking, and I just did what I'm coaching today of just answering the questions and responding, answering the questions and responding. And after about 15 minutes, I said, I need to go. And he just enrolled me into another conversation. And at that moment, I knew he's not going to ask me out. So it's up to me with how long I want to stay. Is everything okay?
Yep.
And so we talked for, I guess, an hour or so. And he, at the end of it, said, well, maybe you want to hang out sometime. And I was like, okay. I knew there was a flirtation, but I also knew he wasn't asking me out. And towards the end of the hour, I just let down, just made him a friend kind of thing. Saw him again with his girlfriend.
Ah.
So if a man doesn't ask you out, you don't know what's going on, but there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And just have faith that not yours at that time. And it's not a personal rejection. That man was not available. He was flirting, but he was not available.
Right. Right. And I really love that. And I wanted you to have a chance to share that, because this can save you so much time, energy, heartache. And I believe as women, we have to place a high value upon ourselves. And a part of that is how we use our time and energy, and how and when we give our attention to a man and our focus on a man. And I know, Sherry, you and I were talking about the preciousness of life. And I think this is a part of it, of recognizing your own worth and then having enough respect for yourself and being self-honoring that you don't dedicate. You could have, had you not known this and felt this strong attraction to a man, you could have spent 3 hours talking to him and then seen him with his girlfriend and thought, well, that big jerk, right?
I have done that before.
Yeah. I think we all have. Mm-hmm. So I know our time is wrapping up fast here, Cherry. I know I just love talking to you. I could talk to you all day. Cherry, I just want to give you a chance to leave us with just one last teeny parting thought.
Thank you, Michelle. Let's see. At the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is that you feel good first. Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes to lean into the joy, the relief, the feel good, do that.
Yeah.
A man can't always give you that. This is where you have to be very excellent at the art of self-love. And we talk about it a lot, and a lot of people are like, well, what does that mean? And I believe it means always follow the joy, the relief, the peace, the calm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a beautiful way to end, and I really appreciate that. And I think that really ties in with our theme here about being self-honoring and valuing yourself in dating and in life. And Cherry, I just want to thank you once again for sharing so generously.
Well, Michelle, it's always a pleasure. You're a wonderful interviewer, and I know that you provide so much value and so much solid, in alignment information that are helping so many people. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. That touches my heart. And I want to thank all of our listeners for being here, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everyone.